Morning, everybody. Welcome to the August 13th, 2024 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you are with us. And for those watching online, we're glad you're with us as well. We will begin, as we always do, with an invocation. So if you would please stand and join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, please watch over this board as we try to make good decisions for our community. Watch over our first responders as they do their important work. Please bless and hold in your care the Nash family as they deal with a very difficult situation. Please be with our men and women in uniform around the world and here in our community. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard is absent. Magistrate Tompkins.
Here.
And Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Thank you. You have before you the minutes of the July 23rd, 2024 Fiscal Court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have a busy agenda, and I'd like to use a bit of executive privilege here to rearrange the schedule a little bit. We have some friends from both Henderson County Schools and Holy Name School with us, and they have carved some time out of their busy schedules to be with us, so I'd like to bump up our discussion about transportation agreement to the top, if you don't mind, and ask both Julie Edens from Holy Name School and Bob Lawson from Henderson County Schools come to the podium. As a quick explainer, for many, many years now, even predating my term, there was an agreement between Holy Name School, Henderson County Schools, and Fiscal Court to help pay for the fees that, by statute, the county schools must charge Holy Name School for allowing Holy Name students to use the buses and get dropped off at Holy Name. Now, even though the bus routes do not waver at all from their typical route just to pick up Holy Name kids. In fact, the only, I think, accommodation made for them in the running of the routes is the 2 minutes they stop in front of Holy Name School and let them off. The schools are still required by the state to charge this fee, and it's not an insignificant amount of money. And years ago, in trying to work out how to help both make sure students get to school and perhaps cover the cost in a way that the state is able to reimburse the county, we signed memorandums of agreements every year to get this done. And COVID kind of threw a monkey wrench in all that. Busing ended. We went a couple years there where there was no bill given. We got out of the habit of signing this annual agreement. And it's taken a little while to get back in this rhythm. And therefore, in front of you in your packet is a memorandum of agreement that renews this arrangement and formalizes it in the way it should have been. And with that, I'll turn it over to Bob and Julie to talk about the importance of this and some of the mea culpas that we all share for letting this kind of slip through the cracks in the past few years.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Magistrates and Ms. Comer. Good to see everyone this morning. I think you covered the ground pretty well there, Judge Snyder. For quite a number of years, we've had a partnership among Henderson County Schools, Holy Name Schools, and Judge Snyder, I think, like you said, probably preceding your term, preceding my time as superintendent, maybe even preceding your time as president of Holy Name Schools. That's helps ensure that the students at Holy Name have transportation to school. And the way that has worked traditionally is that the school district would get the rates given from the state. Then we would do the calculation of those rates, and the county has written a check and paid for the transportation of Holy Name students, and in the past, you've been able to be reimbursed for that. And I believe that will be the case moving forward. As Judge Snyder said, in 2020 and during the COVID times, we simply got off track with this and have not covered this, not done this for the past few years. And so what our request is from the court today is that you would pay for the transportation from last year, and that we would enter into an agreement, a memorandum of agreement for years moving forward for Henderson County Schools to transport the students of Holy Name.
Julie, you want to add to that at all?
I would just like to add to that that I certainly appreciate the partnership and collaboration that Holy Name has been able to have both with our public schools, who do an excellent job busing our children, and that is certainly a need for our school and our families, and for the county, who has agreed for so many years to collaboratively work with us on this and to seek that reimbursement for the state. Just the ability for us as a community to work together and to provide that wonderful service to our kids is invaluable, and we certainly appreciate that.
You might know, having gone through 2 budgets now, that we have a budget line item for this. We've slowly lowered it over the last couple of years because, again, COVID kind of played with this a little bit in a way that we weren't getting the bill. And we thought, well, they must be good. Everything must be good. And that was our mistake, too, not to be checking back in. But we have a line item for this. And again, state statute allows us to do this with reimbursement. The one hiccup, as Bob Lawson just mentioned, is that the current bill we just got, probably the first full bill we've gotten since COVID, fell in a window of time that we got the bill that probably means we won't get reimbursed for that check. Going forward, though, we're back in the rhythm where we will get reimbursed by the state. So it's a wash for Henderson County taxpayers moving forward. Just this one time that, kind of a collective oversight, may not get reimbursed, but it's a small portion of our budget, but significant in other ways to them. And in the end, we're doing what the state allows us to do to ensure that we get our kids to school, no matter where they go to school. So what you have before you is the MOA for the coming school year. The current bill we will consider at our next meeting. It will be in the claims for next meeting, and we can have further discussion on that. But for the year to come and to get us back in the rhythm of meeting all the deadlines that the state has of us, I'll open it up to questions or comments, and then I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement. Any questions or comments?
I take it this is pretty much the same agreement we've had in the past, Steve?
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
So any other questions?
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much for your time.
Again, thank you for your time today and for the support for Holy Name and the collaboration and partnership. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Edens. Thank you to the court. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Great day.
Okay, we'll get back onto the regular agenda schedule, and I'll ask Ken Bouchery from KYTC. Coming up, we're going to talk about their secondary road recommendations for the funds this year. Hi, Ken.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Great.
Good morning, sir. As you know, we've come here every year and asked for y'all to approve the roads we've chosen to pave with our rural secondary funds in Henderson County. Here's just a map of Henderson County. As you know, we've got 229.8 centerline miles of state maintained roadway, 136 miles of rural secondary roads, 122 state maintained bridges, and 46 rural secondary bridges. I know bridges have been a hot topic in the county this year. We've had a few get closed, and we replaced a bridge out on 416 earlier this year. We are working on getting the 136 bridge that's closed open back up. We're going to take and looks like we're going to replace it with a con-span structure like we've done with a lot of the other bridges.
They're supposed to be in this week to get us a final estimate on that. And y'all, as everyone knows, 812 Bridge is back open. I know that was a hot topic for the city and county alike. We're still looking at replacing that bridge. The goal is in the next, we're doing some redesign work. We didn't have anybody bid on it the first time due to it's difficult to construct with all the power lines and stuff around there and right away. It's a difficult bridge. Our state forces were able to shore work back up and get it back open, but we're still on track to replace that bridge. We're going to relet it here in the next couple of months with a little bit of a redesign. So hopefully that'll be coming too soon. For this year, we have 2 roads we recommend resurfacing. Kentucky 1078 from the 8.798 to the 10.826, which is roughly from Zion extending north 2 miles. Estimated cost is roughly $290,000. And then Kentucky 2183, where it goes from US 60 south 2 miles to LaRue Road, that intersection, where we just recently did that guardrail project out there with estimated cost of $292,000. Which our total funds available this year for that paving is $667,050. Depending on, those 2 projects are close together, which we'll let them out as a group. So hopefully that'll help us get a little better price, and depending on how that goes, hopefully we'll come in a little bit under budget on those, and that's more money for next year is our hope. Here's the 1078 section to give you a visual. Right there, you can see where it extends from 351 at Zion north, and then speaking of 1078, the intersection with US 60 there, last year we approved to do that site distance improvement project. All the utilities have been moved on that, so hopefully we'll be getting that out and being constructed here as well this year. But we did just get all the utilities moved last month. AT&T, Energy got their lines moved and everything. So that's been a work in progress. As everybody knows, utility work usually takes a while. Here's a couple pictures of that section of roadway. Cracking, a little bit of base failure. Here, where the road's sliding toward the ditch, which we'll take in this project. We'll actually fix some of this with our maintenance employees, and then let it bid for resurface to help fix the structural problems we've got in these areas. And then 2183, right there you can see from US 60 south. Similar section, kind of a dark picture, but fixing this cracking and the shoulder areas on this road as well. Yeah, common theme here. You can see where the road's trying to slide down this embankment. We'll work to shore that up and then repave the road. There's also going out this direction. That's where the new guardrail project was just completed. Y'all's flex funds, $290,204 for use in y'all's county for county roads and whatnot. You know, we're always supposed to ask for them back to pave state roads, but we don't expect that. We understand y'all need it. That also allows y'all to take, and as long as y'all retain them, that y'all get to, that gives y'all access to the discretionary funds as well. So I'd highly recommend y'all vote to keep that money.
May that be the first time somebody from the state highly recommended we keep the flex funds.
Well, we like them back, but in reality, it's just not it wouldn't be a good decision for the county.
I think we're going to take you up on your strong recommendation.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions?
Remind me, Ken, do we need to vote to approve your plan for
Yes.
non-flex funds? Okay, so you saw the roads that they're planning?
I'll make a motion to approve his plan.
You have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And now to the flex funds, I'll ask Nick Stallings to come on up real quick. Ken, you can step there if you want to. We are going to vote to,
Retain those.
hang on, yeah. We are going to vote to keep the flex funds. Can I get a motion to that effect?
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Nick is going to make a quick presentation of our plans for those flex funds.
Awesome.
All right, what we're looking to do is Alvis Ferry, we're looking to pave that section with flex funds going from 351 out to 1078. That's completely Alvis Ferry, and it's a full, complete road. And then we're looking at doing Collier Road from the end of maintenance there at that bridge all the way back to US 41A. Looking to pave that section with that, which that will complete Collier Road also. And then with any money we have left, we're going to pave Design LaRue from the intersection with Rucker number 1 back to 351, which is complete that road in its entirety. What cannot be completed with flex funds will just be picked up on our paving list. That's all within the same amount of paving. And again, price for asphalt will determine how much we can get paid with flex funds versus our paving. So that will that do more than complete flex funds. And those roads got a lot of houses, a lot of density, which are things that Frankfurt looks for to approve them as flex fund roads, that we're not paving somebody's driveway or paving, a road that's not utilized very much. These all roads have a lot of density, a lot of average daily traffic, and are good candidates for the paving.
And just for the record, we can get a voice vote to approve Nick's plan that he just presented.
Make motion to approve Nick's plan for our road.
We have a motion and a second on that plan for these flex funds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And you'll provide Angela that hard copy list of that so we can get it in the minutes, which you all need.
Yep.
And any other questions of Nick or Ken?
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Godspeed.
Thank y'all.
More asphalt, yeah. Mark Julian, I believe, is Mark Julian, there he is. I will make an apology to the court. When we talked about the grant, come on up, Mark, the grant that Mark had requested of us, I indicated that it was for leaks. He reminded me after I told him about that they were going for a DRA grant for those leaks, and what he needed, our money was for hydrants. And so, in lieu of the fact that I gave you the wrong information, I thought we'd have Mark come back, explain it all over again, we'll vote all over again, and hopefully set it straight. So sorry, Mark.
No problem at all. Good morning, and thank you for your time this morning. I'm sure everybody's aware that, we need more hydrants out in the county to improve our fire protection rating in all the communities in the county and assist the volunteer fire departments in doing their job of protecting lives and property. Hydrants started getting put in this county and when the county water district got established back in the 60s. And as some maintenance, time's gone by, incidents like vehicles hitting them, lack of maintenance, just simple age, vandalism, damage of all sorts has caused a lot of these hydrants to be inoperable. So what this request is based on is requesting the money that you all would have to put towards this purpose of about 15 to 20 sites. That's what the first part of the money would be used for. Each hydrant should have 3 valves on it. An actual valve that isolates the hydrant from the main itself, and then one on each side, so that if we have a water main break in an area and we have to shut the main down, we can actually flush that out. There's a lot of places that don't have the proper number of valves. So it is to replace hydrants that are either damaged or out of service. And then if there's any money left after we could get that accomplished, then we'd like to try to use it to put any new hydrants in where the regulations will support. Typically, it needs to be fed from a 6-inch main or greater and have at least a flow of 250 gallons a minute at 20 PSI.
Now, as I've come to learn, and many people might not understand, hydrants serve more than one purpose. As you just mentioned, in addition to being there for firefighting purposes, they also provide release points and connection points for the system itself and help maintain pressure. So they serve that's their primary purpose, actually, and then the
It's
use for
flushing.
yeah. So, and typically in the past, the district hasn't necessarily needed the fiscal court's help with projects like this, but through a variety of circumstances, it's become a bit of an emergency and a little out of the district's ability to handle it themselves all at once. So that's why you're coming to us for this. We can use ARPA monies for these projects. One thing I did want to ask you, Mark, is it possible for you to do this as a piece-by-piece project where you fix a hydrant or two, send us a bill for that work, fix another two, send us a bill?
Sure.
For a couple of reasons, that'll work more easily for us if we decide to support this. And the total in your mind is a little over 200,000?
I'm estimating between 15 and 20 sites would be about $200,000, yeah.
Okay. So if that's possible, I'd like to do it that way. But first, I think we all have to agree to help in this manner, and we do have the funds for it. So I'll open it up to questions.
I'll make the motion to give them the money to replace the hydrants.
Well, that was easy. And do we agree that trust me when I say this kind of reimbursement schedule works better for us than trying to write one big check at this point. So if that's amenable to you,
Absolutely.
we do have a motion.
I'll second it.
We just replaced one at W and Royster in 283 that had been needing to be done this week. So we are starting on them.
And I can tell you too, just since I've been a magistrate, he's been much more responsive. He used to take multiple phone calls, and I know they were going through a state of turnover and things like that, but done a great job, been very responsive. Hey, things are delayed a little bit, but it's just in their, they do good work out there. I went by and checked on it, and so it's, these guys are running a pretty tight ship now, so I think we're, this is good use of our money to help, help our system out.
Thank you.
And I'll second
Okay.
the motion.
I do have a question. Mark, how do you determine where you're going to put another hydrant?
Well, we have to look at the distribution system itself. We have to look and see what mains are in the ground, what size they are, and if they're fed from a 6-inch main or greater. Where the distribution system you can put a hydrant, then we're not going to cherry pick one community over the other. I'll try to give a kind of coarse example here. In Spot or in Basket, they have a lot of hydrants, right? In a community like Hebbardsville, they don't have a lot. So we try to look and see where they're needed and where we can actually, the mains will support it.
So I asked this question because there's an individual that lives, I think it's Winding Trail, right there off 41 South.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been trying to get a hydrant, I guess, right in there at some point. And I didn't know if there wasn't enough housing to justify putting a hydrant.
It's not really a housing issue. I'll give you kind of a similar area. Walter Road, it's off 41 South. That road is fed from a 3-inch water main. I can't put
I got
a
you.
hydrant on that. I mean, at the end of the main itself, the end of the line, it'll either have a blow-off pipe or a flush hydrant, little small, red,
Yeah.
not as big as a fire hydrant, and that's for water quality purposes. But for the constituents and our customers in the county that want fire protection, putting in a new water line is pretty much always several $100,000, and it could be a few $1 million depending on the size and scope of the project. And that's really why it's prohibitive for us to say, hey, we got this need out there, all these customers need, that ISO rating for the fire protection so that their fire insurance premiums aren't high. That's the issue. It is not that county water doesn't want to get those hydrants in. It's a simple mathematical deal about money.
Yeah. So I can tell him what?
Winding Trail, We are going to have to look at the main, like off the top
Okay.
of my head, I do not know the size of the main in that area. But if it's not a 6-inch or greater and it's not fed from a 6-inch or greater, then it will not support a hydrant.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second, and I will ask Taylor if you could amend the motion to specifically say that we will support up to the amount of
205.
$205,000 and no
I'll
more.
make the motion to support the $205,000 ask for hydrant replacement.
And I'll second that.
Second on that amended motion. Thanks, just going to keep it in the record. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And contact me, we'll work together on a billing schedule and how that'll look.
Sure thing, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all.
This is also the time of year when we approve and set tax rates, and we have several of our taxing districts with us today. And we'll start with Clay Horton and the Green River Health District.
Thank you, Judge and Magistrates.
Welcome, Clay.
Glad to be here once again for tax season. I think you all have a copy of the taxing resolution that the Henderson County Board of Health passed at their May meeting. What this resolution did was set the upcoming tax rate at 5 cents per $100 of assessed value. That is the same tax rate that this board has imposed for at least the last 7 years or so.
So unchanged.
Changed, yep.
So our job is to vote to accept these in the record, and just need a motion.
So move.
Second.
The motion is second. Again, the health district's rates will remain unchanged. Good job. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Painless. Thank you.
Thank you, Clay.
Next is the Extension Service. Andy Rideout.
Thank you, Judge, Magistrates. I'll be brief as the Health Department there was, but it also gives me an opportunity to give you guys a copy of our report to the people, kind of let you know what we have done in the past year. Just a quick snapshot. So same deal with us. Our board met a couple weeks ago, set tax rates. We have elected to keep the compensating rate, which actually lowers our tax rate this year from 3.5 on real property to 3.4. and 4.3 to 3.78 on personal property. So it effectively was a decrease in tax rates to keep the compensating rate. So that was what the board decided, and we're happy to report that, and we are financially stable and manage our money well. Anytime you guys want a little insight to any of that, all you have to do is call us.
Thanks, Andy.
Any questions on these tax rates? And thanks for the extra information. Appreciate that. All those, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Our own tax rates for fiscal court for the 9th straight fiscal year will remain unchanged. That is what we have declared. That's what we budgeted on. And we will also need a vote to approve those tax rates for next year, which again remain unchanged.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I will say very proud that that's been the case for 9 straight years.
Absolutely.
I'd say that might be a record.
Yeah, I
So-
believe it is. This is as long as we ever gone.
Any other discussion, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The Drainage Commission met last month, and they've been in a year-long or more discussion about dissolving the Drainage Commission. It was a rather, honestly, archaic kind of model, and the amount of revenue raised from what they call the ditch taxes was minimal. It was hard to get projects done on the amount of money they were pulling in, and as Mr. Gold explained to them on more than one occasion, the vagaries of divvying up of lots over the course of time left some people who weren't even, had property not touching a drainage ditch, paying a ditch tax, others who were on a drainage ditch not paying a ditch tax for whatever reason. It became very hard to discern and explain, and so for more than a year, there have been discussions about dissolving the Drainage Commission and creating a new countywide Drainage Commission under the auspices of Fiscal Court that would be better funded, have a little bit more organization, and eliminate ditch tax, the need for ditch taxes. And the commission met, and there's kind of a two-part process to this. Actually, it's more than two parts. But the first thing they decided to do in setting their rates for the new year is to zero them down, take them all down to zero. So no ditch taxes will be paid this year. And then they are going to, hopefully by the end of this calendar year, expend all the funds they have in their current accounts on projects and do with that money what it was intended to do until the accounts reach zero, and then dissolve, go through the process of dissolution. And in the meantime, we will be beginning to stand up our Flood Mitigation Commission, whatever you want to call that. And we'll be talking about that more soon. But the first step is they've submitted their tax rates to us at zero. So we need a motion to accept that.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? And again, we're going to have more discussions about this as we get closer to end of the calendar year. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, we're going to open up some asphalt bids, and we'll ask Nick to come up. We have the bids here.
All right, we got Rogers Group. The way we did this, the same way we've done it before, is to give them a list of roads and what we're going to pave and the start and finish tonnage that goes along with it, and they give us a price for in place. Okay, they got their binder, 0.5D binder at $104.60 a ton, and their base, 1.0 base at $100.20 a ton. We also ask for their maximum width paving, so we get all of our roads paved in one full width, so we don't have that center line joint, and they can capable of 23 feet for their maximum paving. All right, this is from Jaeger Materials. Same thing, 50D binder is $97.16 a ton, and their 1.0 base is $96.71 a ton. They can pave up to 22 foot width, which we don't have anything that wide in this paving cycle. All right, next group paving or submitting bids is Scotty's Contracting. They have their 0.5 binder at $84.41 a ton, and their 1.0 base is $76.60 a ton. And they can pave 21 feet full width. Last but not least is EMB Paving. They're showing up to the game with 5.0 base is $185 a ton, and their 1.0 base is $86.50 a ton, and their maximum width is 20 feet. So I would like to look at these and then come back up during Good of the County to make a recommendation. I mean, it's pretty simple. These are all reputable contractors. They all have a time limit on when it can be paved, and so mainly it's going to come down to price. I'd like to go ahead and get that approved if you're okay with it, so we're not waiting 2 weeks just to get approval and then push anybody back if they have the ability to start before September 1. We obviously for it, so better paving, better weather, better roads.
It's fine by me.
Makes sense to me.
And thank you to all the companies who submitted bids. Appreciate that. Next, I'll ask Eric Higgs to come up. We've got some surplus property to declare.
Good morning. We have 3 pro-gravity 4-compartment pull-behind recycling trailers that we no longer need. Reason is we're switching over to the hydraulic dump trailers, which makes it a lot easier on us unloading them, plus we could be more proficient. These trailers we've had them for quite a while. We also have 11 gray recycling dump carts. We are no longer a sorting facility, so we have no use for them. I do have several counties that are interested in them. Bullitt, Wayne, Meade, and Hardin counties are interested in the pull-behind trailers, and then Powell and Hardin County are interested in the dump carts.
Would you be proposing that we give them to those counties or sell them, or what do you?
It was my understanding, because I think this was bought through a Kentucky Pride grant years ago, I would be okay if they wanted to come get them, just giving them to them.
Does anybody have a problem with that? I mean, what can we reasonably expect from auctioning them off?
Probably not very much at all.
Any of the dollars? Okay. Always interested in helping fellow counties. Anybody have a problem with that? Can we just say that any ones that we can give to other counties, great. If there are any left over, we can send those to surplus, send those to auction.
Sounds good.
I mean, we can do it legally, right, Steve?
It's going to be transferred to another governmental entity. We just need to make sure we have a record of that transfer. Document something that exactly what they're getting and, when they're getting it. And that satisfies the statute. As long as it's another governmental entity, we can do that.
So maybe a motion to that effect, that whatever other governments don't pick up, we will send to auction.
I'll make a motion to what we can't transfer to another county legally, we'll send to surplus.
I'm sorry. Let's read a resolution and then we can vote on that. Apologize.
A resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court is the owner of certain personal property that is no longer of use to the county. Whereas pursuant to KRS 67.802, the Fiscal Court finds that it is in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court wishes to offer the said property to be transferred to another Kentucky County recognized agency without compensation or sold by public auction in accordance with the law at the discretion of the Henderson County Judge Executive. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. Pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the personal property on the list attached hereto and incorporated herein is hereby declared to be surplus. It shall be transferred without compensation to another Kentucky County agency or sold at a duly advertised online auction pursuant to all applicable laws at such time and place and in such manner as shall be arranged by the County Judge Executive. The County Judge Executive or his designee is hereby authorized to make said arrangements.
So that covers, I think, all the bases.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Eric? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Steve, you have some material to declare.
Yes, sir. We've got a couple of desks, we believe from the 70s or 80s era that are being replaced, and a credenza. Some of that's because we're replacing them, some's because we've been able to digitize some of our files and aren't needing some of that storage. And a few office chairs that are more recent, but we bought them on sale. I was trying to be responsible with the money and found out with the amount of traffic we have sitting in those chairs, a cloth cover was a really bad idea, and they have not worn well, and they have been replaced with more durable chairs.
So I'm going to read a resolution for that.
Yeah, I'd love to, but I can't find it.
Yep.
Thank you. A resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson County Attorney is the owner of property that is no longer of use to the County Attorney's Office or by any other departments within Henderson County. Whereas the Fiscal Court has reviewed the list of properties submitted by the County Attorney, setting forth the item's description, original purpose, and reason for disposition. Whereas pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the Fiscal Court finds that it is in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for disposition thereof. As such, the Henderson County Fiscal Court wishes to offer said property to be sold by public auction or by disposing of as garbage, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky, as follows. 1. Pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the personal property of the county attorney's office listed on Exhibit A, attached hereto and incorporated herein, is hereby declared to be surplus. 2, if Exhibit A designates the personal property to be offered for sale at an online auction, it shall be sold using a duly advertised online auction pursuant to all applicable laws at such time and in such manner as shall be arranged by the county judge executive. The county judge executive or his designee is hereby authorized to make said arrangements.
Get a motion to approve that?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Steve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we're going to have first reading of our battery energy storage system ordinance. This was recommended to us for approval from the Planning Commission, where we had a full public hearing. The Planning Commission voted overwhelmingly to recommend approval to us. Appreciate their work. Again, you have read the transcript of the public hearing. You've also had the ordinance with you to read for some time now. So I will ask, if don't mind, just read a summary instead of reading the entire 30-page ordinance or whatever.
Yep.
Just read the summary at the top there.
Okay. Ordinance amending the Henderson County zoning ordinance found in the Henderson County Code of Ordinances in Appendix A thereof, establishing a new article, Article 32, regarding battery energy storage systems, or BESS, B-E-S-S, and establishing standards and requirements therefore.
Get a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'll also vote aye for the record. We are going to need to go into an executive session per KRS 61.810C, discussion of proposed or pending litigation on, against or on behalf of a public agency. We may require a vote when we come out of this session, so I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Please hang tight while we meet in executive session. executive session?
So move.
We have motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Steve, would you please explain what we're about to vote on?
All right, so a third-party purchaser of tax bills, Mid-South Capital Partners LLP, filed a lawsuit back in 2020, case number 20 CI 507. It's Mid-South Capital Partners versus the heirs of Juanita Tapp and several other folks. We, as we do in those cases, filed an answer asserting the county's delinquent taxes that are owed, and it did go up for sale October 14, 2021. There were no bids at that sale. There were no, there's no movement on the case afterwards. Now the Master Commissioner is saying to both us and to Mid-South Capital, we need to come forward and make a claim. The way the law reads is that we would get a joint deed where we would be joint owners with Mid-South Capital Partners of this property, since there were no bids if we chose to assert that interest. Once there is a sale and a deed, it will get back on the tax rolls and will be a tax-producing property at that point, whether we assert our interest in that or not. The decision is whether or not we want to be co-owners of a very small lot with Mid-South Capital Partners LLP. It is the recommendation of the County Attorney's Office that the fiscal court disclaim any interest in that property.
I make the motion to disclaim any ownership of the property.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Couple cleanup items. First, from the Henderson County tax rates, we need to read those into the record, so we're going to allow Angela to do that.
Okay, the Henderson County Fiscal Court tax rates for 2024. Order, the property assessment has now been certified by the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Revenue, Office of Property Valuation, and permissible ad valorem tax rates and revenue for fiscal year 2024-2025 established for Henderson County in accordance with KRS 68.245 through 68.249. Be it ordered by the Fiscal Court of the County of Henderson, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the following tax rates for 2024-2025 are hereby set. Rates per 100, real property 12.8, personal property 18.4, motor vehicles 8.5, public service county real estate 11.8, public service county personal 17.5, and watercraft 8.5. Gross levy revenue expected of the real property, $3,542,855. Of the personal property, $854,138. Motor vehicles, $370,372. Public service county real estate, $69,861. Public service county personal, $423,13. And watercraft, $14,405. Further, be it ordered that a 3 cent per acre tax be levied on all privately owned timberland in Henderson, Kentucky, which is required to be listed for taxation and credited to the Forest Fire Protection Act account.
The motion approved.
So move.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The other thing we had to do was also approve the dissolution process for the Drainage Commission. Steve, would you briefly describe what that might entail?
As briefly as possible, Judge. KRS 65A.050 deals with special purpose government entities and their dissolution, even though these drainage districts were created well before there were such a things as special purpose government entities in the law. When that passed in, they're now part of that. So it does lay out the process. We've had a voice vote today approving that dissolution. The next process is that there has to be a dissolution plan created and presented to the court to show where the services that were provided by the special purpose government entity would be handled and how they would be handled in the future. Then there would need to be a publication and display of the approved dissolution plan for public review. Then there would be a public hearing advertised according to the guidelines, and then at that public hearing, the plan would have to be up for at least 30 days, and then there would be the public hearing. And then within 60 days of that public hearing, there would need to be a vote by the fiscal court to go ahead and make the dissolution final. So that would be the process that would need to be undergone. I know the current commission was strongly in favor of establishing a countywide surface water drainage district under KRS 269.270. That would be an entity created by the fiscal court. It would be a non-taxing entity. They would essentially be an advisory committee to the fiscal court about, the status of drainage in those areas. And since those folks are intimately aware of what's going on in those districts, they were strongly in favor of seeing if they could continue in that process, and they were asking that that would be part of any dissolution plan, but it does not have to be. But that is the process of how we would need to go through that, following that 65A point, what was it? 050 subsection 2.
Judge, you want a motion?
Yeah, please.
I move we start the process for the dissolution under the KRS Mr. Gold just referenced.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? A lot of time to go, as you heard Steve say, but just want to get it on the record here. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you. Jailer Todd, if you wouldn't mind coming forward. One thing we do need to settle is your new contract with the federal government.
Yes, sir.
And it's good news. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning. I think
Morning.
y'all have in y'all's packet where we came to agreement with the U.S. Marshals to increase our per diem and from $62 to $68 per inmate. And then we increased transport, like we take an inmate to medical, to the hospital or to a court. We increased that from $22 to $30. And then they pay us mileage, which is the current rate of federal government, which right now is 67 cents a mile. Lori has been working on that since February. Federal government moved slowly. Was hoping to have it for a budget, but we got it approved August 1st. So we're now receiving our increase.
It needs our blessing, so all those in favor of this agreement? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Bruce? Good job, all involved.
Thanks, Jailer Todd.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any other questions? We've changed, we have replaced our AC unit on our A hall, which has been on y'all's report for several years, so that's been completed and going well.
Scanner, everything good there?
Yes, scanner. We're going to look at, maybe some different scenarios, how we're going to do our scanner.
Okay.
So I was going to have it this court date, but talking with some folks, we probably need to do some other things different. So we'll do that, and we'll bring that back to you.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right?
Thank you.
Mhm.
You have in your packet the 2023 oil tax settlement for the Sheriff's Office. And Sheriff Stauffer, if you want to add to the conversation.
I don't have much to add.
Any questions about this? This is his annual report. We need to.
Move to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anything else going on?
No, all's good so far. That's what I was asked earlier. Right now, all's good. Well, I say that. That's not really the case. We've had, yeah, well, the county's hit with several traumatic incidents in the last couple weeks, and my deputies have responded to most of those, so.
And from what I understand, they've done valiant work.
Well, we try, but, so please keep our guys and also the volunteer firemen that show up with us to those scenes, so.
They're for sure in our prayers. We appreciate them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you very much. We also have the normal monthly reports in your packet to approve from the Sheriff's Department. Your motion?
Second.
Motion and a second on the sheriff's monthly reports. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. Gold.
Judge got several checks today. 3 interest checks, $264.82, $87.03, $100.48. Reimbursement, $6,494.45. Health insurance, $14,780.38. 2 dental and life checks, $13.89 and $550.17, and Aflac, $161.84, bringing today's total to $22,453.06. And the fiscal year total to date, $44,849.49.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Treasurer Ryder.
I have a cash fund transfer request from the general fund to the opioid settlement fund, $61,533.97. This is transferring 4 wire transfers from July 31st, 2024 to the correct fund. I have worked on this, and hopefully this will be correct going forward, hopefully.
Get a motion to approve that transfer?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have claims from the general fund to I3 Verticals LLC, $2,800. This is for a fraud alert website and hosting to be used by the clerk's office, and is to come from the clerk's maintenance, repairs, equipment appropriation line. To First National Bank of Omaha, which is the clerk's credit card, $2,203.33. The majority of this is from the clerk's conferences, training, and office supplies appropriation lines. To Magistrate Tompkins, $872.04. This is for training expense reimbursement and is to come from the fiscal court conferences, training appropriation line. From the road fund to Turner's Tree Service, $11,400. This is for tree removal on Tillman Bethel Road and is to come from the maintenance repairs appropriation line. From the jail fund to Advanced Document Solutions, $955.97. This is for copier services and is to come from the data processing equipment appropriation line. To U.S. Bank, which is the credit card, $3,010.64. The majority of this is from the equipment repairs and maintenance and office supplies appropriation lines. From the grants fund to the Kentucky State Treasurer Division of Waste Management, $9,715.62. This is for reimbursement of the fiscal year 23-24 household hazardous waste grant, which was unused. And this is to come from the Household Hazardous Waste Grant Appropriation line.
I move we pay the claims.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions, claims? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
At this time, if anybody would like to speak for good of the county, please come to the mic. I guess we'll start with Nick. Looks like you have a recommendation.
Yes, there's pretty clear-cut winner for both base and binder would be Scotty's. They came in about $13 under the second place for the binder, and they came in about $10 a ton for the base. So pretty good numbers for us, a little bit under what I originally budgeted, so that may give us a chance to do a little more paving.
And we, I believe Scotty's was our contractor last year, so we have
Yes,
experience with them.
Yes, they were half. We had a different surface and binder, surface and base people last year, but yeah, they got both of them this year, and like I said, all 4 contractors who bidded were Rebel Boys, just came down to money.
So we have a recommendation?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Anybody else speak for good of the county? Hearing none, I'll go around the horn. Magistrate Starks.
Thank you, Judge, and good morning, everybody, and just wanted to say I hated I missed the Bluegrass Festival this past weekend, but by all accounts, it sounded like everything went smooth, and from what we learned at the conference with the local issues conference, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, according to our new UK basketball coach. I just want to give a quick shout out because I spent the last several days in a hospital with my brother as he was going through a heart procedure, and I just want to take this time to say thank you to all of those who are in the healthcare profession and for what you do. And I see the stress. Unfortunately, a lot of them are putting their own health at risk to take care of the rest of us. And so if you have someone in your family or just know someone, a neighbor or anybody and that's in the healthcare field, give them a hug and let them know how much they're appreciated, because they're out there on the front lines every day, and we couldn't do it without them. And take care of yourself. Get some exercise in this beautiful weather, eat right, be kind. And I saw that yesterday so much all throughout our community with the outpouring of support for the local family, what they're going through. And I think that's what makes us special here in Henderson, is when we come together for things like that. And also be kind to yourself. And just remember, kindness usually doesn't cost very much. So with that, all else is good in the 5th.
Thank you. Magistrate Berry.
Thank you, Judge. I don't have a lot, but thank you, Nick, for the updates on Green River Road. I can pass that along. People are interested in all the paving. Looks like it's going to go well. We hope it does. Bluegrass in the Park went well. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Steve, and thank everybody that participated and everybody that helped. You know, that's a year-long process. We work on that most of the year, getting everything together, and it is quite a chore. So we appreciate everybody that came. We couldn't have it if we didn't have people attend, and we had a good crowd. The weather was great, and it was a good weekend. So with that, everyone's a good one. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Gold.
Congratulations to Keith on the great Bluegrass in the Park and the whole team that organizes it. I don't know how much you all spent, but you ordered up the right weather. It really was perfect. Yeah. Well, it got delivered on time, and it was perfect. But it was really great. I really enjoyed, as I was walking there, seeing all the out of town and out of state license plates that come in for that. Anytime we can bring people into Henderson and show off our community is a great thing. So went off without a hitch. Congratulations, and just prayers and thoughts out to the Nash family and all those that are grieving. Otherwise, things are good in the county attorney's office, Judge.
Thank you. Magistrate Putman.
Thank you, Judge. All is good in the 4th.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Just echo comments about prayers for the Nash family and business as usual in a second. Appreciate all Nick and the County Road Department does, so thanks for that.
I want to give everybody a bit of an update on the inspection of the twin bridges. As you might know, KYTC is taking this week off from inspections after inspecting the northbound bridge last week. And as is typically the case with these annual inspections, there was a lot of delays and consternation, I'm sure, among some folks. I do appreciate KYTC not starting until 9 and ending at 3 to kind of alleviate rush hour, but there were still some backups. Next week, they will start the southbound bridge inspection, and there will likely be more delays. There had been some requests, both online and amongst other people I know, about the state considering switching to the configuration where they have 3 lanes on one bridge and 1 lane on the other bridge to allow 4 lanes of traffic to be flowing. KYTC did take that under advisement. What we were told, what Mayor Staten was told when he happened to talk to Nitra Henderson at KYTC District 2, is that they will monitor the situation the first day and see if it becomes so unruly that they do need to implement that 1 and 3 configuration. The thing to know about that is it's not a simple switch to flip. Also, it has to stay in that configuration the whole time all week, 24/7. They can't just turn that on and off. So people would be driving those skinny lanes all hours. So, and if you've done that, it can be a little nerve-wracking to do that as well. So even though this is an annual thing that we've dealt with since I've lived here, annual inspections that slow down traffic, KYTC is listening to some of the complaints about the congestion. So we'll see what they decide after next Monday. Just heads up on all that in case you get asked about it.
And have they also maybe considered the possibility of doing the inspections at night when the traffic, or off hours?
That's been brought up too. A lot of it has to do with their contractors, what the bid process looks like, the expense built in, a lot of considerations about that, but it certainly won't happen this year. The process is already underway. The contracts were signed. What I would say is, for various reasons, hopefully I-69 being one of them, is that anecdotally, I don't know this for certain, but I think traffic is picking up on 41 and 69, and so maybe the delays experienced in the past are even more excessive now because we're gaining traffic. I do not know that for a fact. I'd have to see a traffic study, but my eyeballs tell me there are even more trucks coming across both sides of those bridges than ever before. So we'll see. Along those lines, Indiana just completed or had a ribbon cutting on the connection of I-69 to the Beltway around Indianapolis, 465, which is a huge step. Getting I-69 to Bloomington was $1 billion. Getting it from Bloomington to Indianapolis is another $1 billion. And they've completed that. That is a major step forward for the utility of that corridor as a major freight route. And the bridge is the kind of the final little piece for Indiana. And they will be having a groundbreaking ceremony on Section 3, which is their approach to the river from the south side of Evansville later in September, and you'll all be invited. It'll be a big day for them. So they're pivoting right from connecting it in Indianapolis, coming down now and building their portion of the current bridge project. Just as a reminder, the Evansville side should take about 2 years to complete, so 2026. Hopefully by that time as well, Section 1 on our side will be fully complete. And then it will just be a matter of time and effort and money to see how quickly they can start the actual span over the river. We had a meeting of BridgeLink yesterday, and we continue to both help them in any way we can to secure major federal grants to speed up the timeline. They have an application in for a grant whose window of awards is now open, so they're waiting at any moment to see whether that $230 million grant was approved. That $230 million comes with more than $150 million in matching money from the state, so it's actually a $380 million grant, which would go a long way towards allowing the bridge to happen without a pause of any sort, and hopefully, meet our internal goal of getting the bridge open by 2028. We're still shooting towards that. The other conversation was our consistent and continuing efforts to do everything we can to keep both twin bridges open and free for this project. We basically have until the new bridge opens, which is at the point when the closing of the southbound bridge, potential demolition of the southbound bridge, which is part of the current plan, would happen. And we are attempting to convince the powers that be, the new leaders coming in, that will be coming in Indiana, and probably in Kentucky. It won't be finished by that time, so there'll be a new governor in Kentucky, a new Secretary of Transportation, convince all of them of the importance of keeping both twin bridges. So for anybody that wonders, that is a major focus of advocates on both sides of the river. The leading candidate for governor in Indiana at this point, I think, can fairly be said to be Mike Braun, the Republican candidate. We have met with him multiple times. He seems to agree on the value of the southbound bridge, but the proof will be in the pudding when he actually takes office, if he gets elected, and who he selects as the new Indiana Department of Transportation Commissioner. So it's our job to continue to sell that story and help them understand why. So just stay tuned on all that. Long way to go, but had a lot of discussion on it. And every time there's congestion on the Twin Bridges, these conversations come back up. So with that, I have nothing else. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second. All in favor can leave.